Hello again. This is Jerry,
And Jacob,
and we're two
two unrelated blood
unrelated
brothers.
brothers.
We'll get it. We're gonna get it. We're almost there. We had it for a second.
We're almost there, dude. It's so hard because we're not in the same room. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna leave this in though.
leave it in. Next time we'll edit it. We should have practiced before recording. That honestly would have been the smart thing to do.
That would have, but yeah, I don't know. I like it.
It's what is it? How they say it's real. It's raw.
Yes, it's raw. It's uncut.
So Jerry,
So-
what are we talking about today?
Well, the plan is, unless it goes off the rails, to talk about our favorite PS3 and I guess Xbox 360. I know we didn't really have one.
Yeah.
But, I bought one not too long ago. But those kind of games, some memories and all that, man. Because that's really, PS2 is kind of the golden era for I think both of us, but PS3 that was our high school years. It was and junior high, so it was really great.
Yeah, just to get some context for I guess where we are in that age. I think we mentioned it before in our first one, but to restate, we're like pretty young millennials in our late 20s. So PS2 was like our childhood, but PS3, I think that would probably, I guess, our favorite era. I would say just because we remember more of it, and also we were probably better at games, so we could actually appreciate them more.
Yeah, definitely. Like my first time really playing online was a Resistance Fall of Man. I remember like just having a blast with that, dude. I didn't even have a mic. I didn't have a mic for quite a while actually. 'Cause, I was pretty young. Not really until I got Rainbow Six Vegas is when I finally got a mic.
Yeah, it's another classic. Yeah, I was never much of an online gamer, except for a couple games I'll mention here, and I know you probably have an idea what they are. Anyone probably knows what games they are, but I think I got a PS3 a couple years after it came out because we just couldn't afford one, and I had to work a whole summer to buy one off for my cousin. So I think I got mine in 2009. I want to say.
Okay, so I got mine. I got the original Fat Boy when it came out, which was cool because it was backwards compatible.
Yeah.
I had quite a collection of PS2 games, and I remember, I was like a little asshole kid, so I remember when I first got it playing, I think SOCOM 3 online on the PS3, and I was like, hey, I'm playing on a PS3. And everybody's like, okay, we don't care. Which, funny enough, so I was playing a game on PS4, and this little kid who came on, I forget what we were playing, he's like, hey guys, I'm playing on a PS5.
Oh.
So, yeah, it kind of like triggered a memory.
That's funny. So what was that your first PS2 game?
Yes, so
Okay.
my little brother, he got Ultimate Alliance, that kind of, I think it was like a Marvel game where you can kind of play as like anybody, and it had like 99 levels or some shit.
Yeah.
He got that, and I never really played that. Wasn't really into it, and I played Resistance Fall of Man, which was, it was a great introduction into the next gen.
Yeah. I was say that was one of the opening not opening games, but one of the launch titles. That's it.
Yeah, it was for sure. What was your first PS3 game?
I had two, because I got two when I got my PS3, and that was because I got there late November, so I was lucky enough that I told my family, and then they were able to get me a few games. The first two big ones were Batman: Arkham Asylum and Red Dead Redemption.
Okay, yes, two killers.
Oh, and GTA 4. So with those three alone, set. I was set.
Yeah, for life, pretty much, man. And
Yeah.
it's because I also have GTA 4 on my list. Well, I think I have all of those games on my list, really. But I remember GTA 4, like the step up from San Andreas to 4 was freaking insane. I mean, the physics and the graphics, I mean, just everything. The world seemed a lot more real. I mean, there's even some details that were in GTA 4 that aren't even in the new one, like the RPG
Yeah.
sliding off the ground. I believe if you were to like shoot somebody during a lightning storm, it would like no one would be alerted.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, which I don't think that's in any of the new ones. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't tried it out.
That's some like I feel like that's some Splinter Cell shit. Like that's super hardcore.
Yeah, and then another cool because I remember reading this also in the Game Informer magazine,
Hmm.
like the episode when you're rolling around with that Jamaican dude who's always smoking,
Yeah.
and how crazy it was that if you broke the window, you could just see smoke billowing out of the
Oh, I
theater that
remember
you're
hearing
in.
about that.
And I remember being like, oh shit, that's crazy.
It is throwback to Game Informer, man. Jeez.
Yes, I still get them this day, just digital.
Oh, okay. No, I think I'm done with them just because I don't pay GameStop anymore. But yeah, that was the era too. Like I love getting all those magazines.
Yes, for sure. And then the official PlayStation magazine with the
Yes.
yeah, the little demo disc, man. That's how I originally found Psyops. But yeah.
I was say I think um going from San Andreas to GTA 4. Not only was that such a shift in the series itself, but I think that was honestly a perfect representation too of the jumping from PS2 to PS3.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, for sure. I mean, it blew my mind. And then even from GTA 4 to GTA 5, it was a lot more of a subtle
Yeah.
increase in graphics and detail, but it was still pretty impressive for such old software
So
or
yeah, it's crazy.
hardware. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you kind of have to remember, right? GTA 5 is a PS3 game.
Yeah, and I remember we both kind of because they built so much on the online
Yeah.
with GTA Online that we played that quite a bit on PS3 and PS4.
Yeah, I want to say that was one of the first times I played online with you because obviously the big ones were Call of Duty. I didn't get those till later the next year. I want to say I don't know the exact time frame, but even then I thought like at the time that GTA 4 Online was to me just it's pretty out there. Like I never experienced anything like that. I'm sure that's nothing obviously, but for me that was a big deal.
Yes, for sure. And then another great one you talked about the same company is Red Dead Redemption, which wow.
Yeah, that I mean that pretty much just kind of speaks for itself. I think anyone who knows anything about games knows that's just a legendary title. Like it's just probably in most people's top 10 if they played it, I'd say.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of people don't realize that was originally a spin-off of a PS2 game that was wacky and crazy, and also by Rockstar. It was badass. It was a cool little game.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in our first episode where we said Red Dead Revolver is the perfect like spaghetti western, while Red Dead Redemption is like the Armageddon of westerns.
Yeah, I mean it's all of the games I really enjoy.
Yeah, Red Dead Revolver, we had a lot of fun. I know me and my brother Steven, we played the shit ton of it, not co-op, but like against each other in like versus mode and stuff. That was always fun. Had all the wacky characters.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
And also Red Dead Redemption, like GTA 4, it went into the more serious, realistic setting, and it nailed it though. Nailed it too.
Yeah, except for that awesome DLC, Undead Nightmare, which they need to do for number 2, man. I mean, really.
God, please. You have a zombie Arthur Morgan. Spoilers.
Oh shit,
I was
yeah.
It's been years. Come on, guys. I apologize if for some reason that did spoil someone, but it was like 3 years ago. Come on.
So
or at least 2.
what were you gonna say?
Let's say with Red Dead. Yeah, but like the first game I actually installed and played on my own PS3 was Batman Arkham Asylum, and I'm a huge Batman fan. That's my favorite superhero. So for me, that was basically a dream come true to have a game that awesome for Batman. And to get the original voice actors from the animated series, perfection too.
Yeah, good old Mark Hamill. I forgot
Mark
about that.
Hamill and Kevin Conroy as Batman, perfect.
Yeah, I think you were actually the one who let me borrow those, and I beat those.
Yeah, one of the few games where I let you. Actually, I let you borrow them.
Yeah, that game was really badass. I really enjoy that kind of just button mashing. Like, you just press one button and something crazy happens.
Mhm.
In fact, I remember I forget which one it was. Maybe the second one when Harley Quinn's doing those. She's doing some kind of gymnastics, flipping, and
Yeah.
as soon as she touches down right in front of me, I just give her a swift hit. Like I think it was a punch or a slap or something. She flew. That was crazy.
Yeah, that's the second one.
That one was great. Um,
So yeah,
yeah.
that's also on the list. Obviously, is Arkham City. That, did what Arkham Asylum did and improved on everything.
Yes, that one definitely is a classic. Um, so, what other games did you kind of pick up after that, or did you kind of play those for a while and kind of soak in those?
Yeah, I would say with Arkham Asylum, yeah, you can beat that fairly quickly. You can try to perfect it, do the challenges and stuff, but it can only get you so far. GTA 4 and Red Dead, obviously being open world games, that's where you can really sink a ton of time in and really not worry about. Oh, I should play. I need a different game for like a long time, especially in high school, because like I ain't got nothing. I got plenty of time. We're good.
So, I mean, obviously those games are great graphically, but what other games did you see that on PS3 and you're like, oh shit, that looks really, really good?
Ooh. Metal Gear Solid 4 blew
Yeah.
my mind, and it took a while for it to finally age, where you go, okay, now it doesn't look as good, but that took years. For a long time, it was like this still holds up.
Yeah, I know we've spoken about this game like multiple times on the show so far, and yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna keep on talking about it because it's great. It's a great game, plenty of collectibles. The story's insane, classic Kojima narrative.
All over the place, yeah. But I mean, if you're this game was pretty much said, if you're new, good luck, because this is meant for the people from since the beginning.
Yeah. I would say for me, like graphically, some of the games that I saw that really amazed me, which I don't know if you really ever played this, but Killzone 2 looked freaking
Oh,
phenomenal. Far Cry 3 was great. Um,
yes.
yeah, those two games looked amazing, and then of course, The Last of Us and GTA 5. Those uh, games all looked freaking great. And in my opinion, for instance, Far Cry 3 is, I mean, it's the best one of the series so far. And I'm still playing Far Cry 6, but
Hmm.
so far, Far Cry 3 is, I mean, great. It's my favorite.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people would agree Far Cry 3 is the peak of that series. What's funny? It seems like Killzone has always been kind of not the trendsetter, but the kind of like the bar that's measured for graphics. Because you're right, Killzone 2 and 3 looked great on the PS3, and then for it almost seems like a decent while, Killzone Shadowfall, I think, on the PS4, that was like the best looking game for a bit.
Yeah, so yeah, when I got my PS4, that was I got two games. I got that and the Battlefield 4.
Hmm.
And those, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Battlefield 4 does look great. Those
Hmm.
two were neck and neck, beautiful looking games, for sure. Uh, so I know you're not really into shooters too much, but what are some of your favorite shooters?
I was gonna say, I think that kind of lends into the whole like online thing, because like I said, I'm not much of an online person, but this like this point in my life, these 2 or 3 years, as with probably most high schoolers, God, man, that was life for a bit.
Yeah,
This I
yeah,
think this was I don't think this is might be a little biased, but I think this might have been peak like the peak of God as far as like not only critically but like and commercially and just popularity wise, like everyone loved it.
yeah. Yeah, I remember. I was really hardcore into Modern Warfare, obviously, and then Modern Warfare 2, those two games, man. And then I think me and you kind of played maybe a little bit in Modern Warfare 2, but I think where we really kind of teamed up was Black Ops for sure.
Black Ops is definitely my favorite game. Modern Warfare. Speaking of games that kind of blew you away, the first Modern Warfare I think blew a lot of people away. That was insanity.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. I remember my first time hopping online. It was like right before school. I was trying to play for like maybe 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And so I hadn't really, played too many games online. And I just hear this guy hop on. He goes, I don't know about y'all, but my dick is mad hard right now. And so, like, I was like, I don't know, 12 or 13 or whatever. And I just was like, I was like, oh, shit. Okay.
Put the headphones down. I'm done.
Yeah. And some people I think were already prestiged. I don't know if maybe they got the game early somehow or whatever, but yeah, they were already prestiged. I think I played it like 6 o'clock in the morning, like maybe a day or two after it was released.
Yeah. Oh man, that's hilarious. Yeah, I just had dealt with like normal toxicity online, but nowhere near as crazy as someone just claiming that they're super fucking turned on from the game.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that really was. I mean, that's one of the greatest ones in the whole series, in my opinion, man. I freaking loved it. Because it was also before they started putting in a bunch of what is it? Not DLC, but just content like skins and all this crazy stuff. Which, I mean, I have Cold War, and there are some pretty cool skins, but some of them are like $10-$20 for like a little set. And I mean,
where they really started milking it.
Yeah, I mean, and some of them are pretty cool, but I'm not gonna really support that,
Right. Was that again, definitely, I know it's not the first one to like really get into the modern era, but I think that helped to like again make that the more popular setting, because before it was like nothing but World War II.
Yeah, World War II is the winner for so long as far as games that were coming out. And I mean, unfortunately, an era that I feel like hasn't really been I guess explored too much is Vietnam. I mean, Vietnam. I mean, the Korean War. I mean, there's so much history. I mean, even I don't know. I guess if you do it well, PS1. I mean, I'm sorry, World War One. Which I believe Ubisoft kind of did like kind of an artsy kind of a side scroller that was World War One game. It was really, really great. I enjoyed it.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I have to get the name of that later.
It's like based on letters, right?
Yeah, I believe so. So that's your favorite shooter. For me, like just straight up shooters, that's probably my favorite story like shooter that's a pretty story heavy. I really enjoyed Spec Ops: The Line.
Yeah, you talked about that one. I've never played it. I've seen you play a few levels. Like I know the gist of it and stuff. It definitely does seem like one of those games where it fucks with you.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's pretty rough. I mean, it kind of makes you. I guess. I mean, at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're just changing these pixels on a screen or whatever. But that game kind of made me think, I guess, a little bit harder about it. I mean, I don't know. It really messed with your head. Some parts of the game, and then of course I have Band of Brothers on PS3. That one was really cool. World War II, because a lot of World War II games or a lot of World War II media, starting from the 1950s and onward, really romanticized war. Like this is an honorable thing, and all this and that. Which of course, fighting Nazis is very honorable. But at the end of the day, I mean, war is horrible, and horrible things happened, and some people were conscripted, for instance, in Japan and the Nazis and all this and that, and you're killing people. It's not something to be romanticized, and I feel like Band of Brothers really did that because it was super gory and definitely tried to take a more real approach to World War II.
Yeah. No, definitely. I guess if there's ever a criticism of the first, couple of Modern Warfares, it would be kind of that they went Michael Bay with the story, or like with the plot and stuff. Like it was just very bombastic. It's a summer blockbuster basically.
Yeah.
I know it had a plot and there were some dark moments, but overall it was like dumb fun.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is I remember you kind of played a little bit of that Cold War, but they actually kind of tie in Cold War to the Modern Warfare story.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
See how that is.
I want to say the guy that Zakharov, or the guy that you blow off his arm, he's actually in a Russian. He's in the what's their equivalent to the CIA? The KGB.
Yeah,
he's in
yeah,
the KGB headquarters, and that's one of the first times you see him. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And speaking of that, blowing that guy's arm off, that sniper mission in the first Modern Warfare is like the stuff of legend.
Yes, and they try to repeat it, but you
can't.
just didn't hit that magic twice. I mean, the one where they're kind of taking over DC was pretty cool, but it still was nowhere near as cool as the original mission.
Yeah, I think they tried to, in Modern Warfare 2, they tried to have like the snow level be that one, and it was still a great mission. Don't get me wrong, but it's the first time. You can't. Nothing will match the magic of that.
Yeah. Man, some other good ones I have are Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2 are just amazing.
Yeah.
And, as well, like I said, spoke on earlier, the Far Cry series. I mean, that's to me the pinnacle of Far Cry as well.
I agree. You have it's a great setting. It did a lot of I don't want to say again, it didn't start a lot of the trends, but the whole like climbing towers to unlock parts of the map, enemy strongholds, hunting things to like I said, all basic stuff. It didn't do anything like revolutionary, but it just did it so well. It was just fun.
Yeah, and as far as Rainbow Six, that was kind of game changing because the map, you didn't have to go down a certain point. If you wanted to rappel off the side of the building and see if maybe somebody was camping or whatever, there are so many different entry and exit points that you could make or go through. It was just a really fun game. Did you play that any?
Sometimes I think I played it a couple times with you. I played it a couple times with my cousins. There's one of those like whenever someone wanted me to play it with them, I would 100% do it because it was fun, but I just never got it. Like you said, like you mentioned, not much of a shooter person, so I'm not gonna go out of my way to play it myself. But I did have a lot of fun playing, and I think it was really good.
Are there any other shooters that you can really think of that were like maybe first person or whatnot?
Let me look up. I guess one of them, is technically a shooter, even though I don't think of it as one. Bioshock.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Bioshock. I was going to talk about that more in the horror section, but yeah, that one. I didn't play it on Xbox, and I don't think you did either. Did you?
No, I did not.
Yeah, PS3. Yeah, for me, the original Bioshock and Bioshock Infinite are freaking great. Bioshock 2 wasn't bad at all, but it just didn't have the same magic as either one of those games. Because I mean, originally going into that city in Rapture in Bioshock, it's like a crazy feeling, it's just unexplored territory. And the same thing for Infinite. You're going into a whole new setting, and they really kind of recaptured that magic, I feel.
Yeah, I would say I think 2 gets a little too much hate, but I can understand completely why it's overlooked. It didn't do much to make itself unique. While, like you said, Infinite, I have never beaten that. That's definitely a game I need to get on, but that definitely went in a whole different direction and tried to be its own thing.
Yeah.
And kind of like in what you were talking, I wanted to bring it up too after you were talking about Spec Ops, how it made you, I guess, question what you were doing. I mean, that's what Bioshock really does to you at the end with its little twist.
Yes, it does. I don't know. I love when games do that.
Mm-hmm. Again, I know it's not a new concept, but even back then to like mess with a player like that. I mean, shit, Metal Gear Solid 2, did that as well.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
but when you do it well, because like you said, you just go here. Okay, I'll do that, no problem. Because it's a game. You're just like, I'm just gonna do it. So for the game to go like, you dumb bitch, look what you done. We played you. I'm like, oh well, yeah, I guess you did.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, man, now that you say that, I know there are quite a few games that did that, but I can't really think of too many offhand. I mean, I know, for instance, the Fear series kind of messed with you a little bit
Hmm.
with Alma. Um, and boy, that's like a crazy rabbit hole, like going from Fear 1 to 3. Which have you played all of them, or just I know we
I
beat Fear 3 together.
I was to say, yeah, we played Fear 3 co-op, and that was a blast. I have not played the first or second one. I am waiting for the winter sale on Steam where I can get them all, and that's how I am gonna play it.
Okay, yeah. So Fear 2, kind of similar to Dead Space 2, is my favorite in the series. It just has that perfect blend of horror and action.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fear 1 is kind of, I wish there was a little bit more shooting. It's kind of more heavy on the horror aspect, which, I mean, if that's your thing,
Right.
it's probably right up your alley. But two is definitely my favorite. Really great shooter, kind of horror games. You feel invincible at some parts, kind of like Mad Max style, which I know that's probably one that you want to get into as well.
Mad Max. That's
Yeah.
PS4, isn't it?
No. Mad Max is PS3. Remember?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I know it looks amazing, but yeah, it's Mad Max is PS3.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Do what?
Real? I can't believe it was that long ago. What?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, Mad Max is pretty old, which I was actually playing probably about 3 weeks ago. But yeah, I mean, in that one, I just love the stylized kind of noir story.
Oh, you mean Max Payne?
Oh shit! Have I been saying Mad Max? Have I been?
I was so
Oh
confused.
my god! I've been saying Mad Max. Oh my god! Okay, I feel like a dumbass. Not
No,
Mad
you
Max.
could. I was thinking like I like that game too, but I'm pretty sure that was PS4.
Golly, yeah.
I was thinking that too. I'm like, maybe I am wrong. Maybe it is on PS3. I
No,
just checked. Okay, you mean Max Payne?
yes, Max Payne. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Oh my god.
I
Yeah,
I love Max Payne 3. Like what you were saying, the noir style. Have you seen Man on Fire? Because I feel like it's basically like that.
yeah. You gifted me the movie.
I did. Oh right, I did. We got a copy. We got an extra copy. Yeah, I feel like it's that. I'm not complaining about it. It's a great movie. If there's ever a movie to take inspiration from, it's that. But I know we were talking about it too. I could see how some fans would be kind of be upset about it because you think like the second one wrapped a bow on it. But I think they did it. They did it justice to where like it didn't feel like they were doing it just to capitalize on the name. I feel like they did the story well.
Yeah, and there were just so many parts of that game that there was like a whole conspiracy underneath the story. There's a whole underlying kind of conspiracy with the human trafficking and the organ black market kind of thing that's going on. People going missing in the favelas. That I thought was pretty cool. That, I mean, you could totally miss if you were just kind of not really paying attention.
Yeah, there's definitely more to that story. It's really, when I think about it, I mean, it's Max Payne, of course, it's depressing, but that game is really dark. It doesn't really shy away from shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, and that's some stuff I could really maybe see happening in those kind of high crime areas, like in favelas, like in Brazil and whatnot. Um,
It's
it's
the action sequences are great. Shooting is controlled as well. I mean, I think he does a pretty good job getting you invested in the story. Its set pieces are nice.
Yeah, because it goes from like the favelas to like crazy yachts to, I mean, New York, like all over the place.
A stadium.
Yeah, whole badass stadium.
Hmm.
And you're fighting kind of like, like just random, just low level shooters to freaking guys that are kitted out in full body armor and this
Or
and
say
that.
like paramilitary people.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the weapons. There were so many different kind of weapons and like collectibles with the golden guns. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's badass.
one of my favorite parts of that game too is the last person you kill in each section, it would do the slow motion, and you can like slow it down as much as you can, just watch these bullets tear through these guys.
Yes, like with the shotgun. I think
Mhm.
the first level, there's a guy coming out the doorway. And you just hit him with pellets. And I remember there was one time I think I was playing. I think it was a mission. You're on a bus or something,
Mhm.
and it was the last guy, and I shot him. I think in the head, and he was it was either in the head or in the ass, and it went
Oh,
all the way out to the other side to either the head or the
okay.
ass.
I know exactly what this is because it was so amazing, the timing of it and everything. So it was a section where it was you and the pregnant lady, and you're trying to like protect her.
Yeah.
And I think it was like right after the bus where it crashes, I think, or right before, one of the two. But yeah, the last guy, he fucking tries to like do a barrel roll. He's like rolling around on the ground, and you shoot him as he's rolling. It goes right through the top of his head, and no lies, straight out his ass, like right smack in the middle. It was amazing.
Yeah, dude. I don't know why. Yeah, that memory just popped up.
It really, it was incredible. Like I know you say it and it's like, oh, that sounds funny, but like actually witnessing it and having it happen, you're just like, what are the fucking odds? That's amazing.
Yes. Oh, um,
Like that was years ago, and I can still remember it clear as day.
yeah. Yeah, I can too. Um, what about some games that maybe are more story heavy that may or may not have too much, I guess, replayability or maybe some more simpler maybe control schemes or whatnot, or maybe more complicated, but just something with a crazy great story that sticks out to you.
Maybe that crazy great story, but it's definitely something that's story related, and it it's got a weird legacy. But I think it's I did like LA Noir when it first came out.
Yeah, I think I actually re-bought that recently for PS4. Yeah, that one, and I don't think I ever beat it because I think my PS3 shitted out on me in the like very towards the very very end where you're starting on the arson cases,
Uh-huh.
and I just never beat it.
Oh, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's finally I think when my fat PS3 kind of broke and
Mm-hmm.
ended up getting kind of the not the super slim one, but the one before that.
No, yeah, because I know that got hyped the shit out of when it came out. The whole thing was like, oh, the motion scan, for the facial animations, that was like the huge deal. And to be fair, at the time, the game looked phenomenal. Like, it looked gorgeous. Now it's like, oh, it looks like shit. But at the time, it did look really good.
Yes. At the time, it was freaking. It was great, but it kind of still was in that uncanny valley, I guess, with the creases in the face and whatnot. It still was kind
Yeah,
of a little weird.
I think it. Yeah, I think it was very ambitious, and I don't think the technology was quite there yet. I think if they tried it now, they would nail it. Maybe it would still look a little creepy, but it would definitely look a lot better now than what, in 2011 maybe, I think.
Yeah, well, I feel like now, I mean, they kind of do that method maybe with the games because the faces get pretty detailed on some of the more modern titles, I feel.
Yeah, I think it's a little different. I know they use mocap and everything. I think because I did look up on this, see like, is this like a common practice? That specific technology is not used a lot just because a lot of people say it's impractical because you can't like move at all.
Oh, so it's just from the head up kind of thing?
I think so, and yeah, you can't like really be with other actors, so you can't like really bounce off each other.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just super expensive. I mean, it's always expensive, but considering like the limits it puts on you physically and how much it costs, it's one of those like, I don't think it's used a lot. They just go with a traditional mocap.
Okay.
Like I said, maybe now it's way better, but I think at the time they were just more of like, I don't know, maybe they were like too in love with the technology and kind of like put more emphasis on that than other stuff in the game, because I feel like the game when because same as you, we bought it on the PS4, and actually my niece, when she comes over, she plays it because she's not really much of a gamer, but she likes that. It's not a super hard game. It's mostly detective work.
Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely not as you can't really fail cases. I mean, you can totally go in and stumble around, but I feel like it still like forces you to succeed, and I feel like it'd be a lot better if you could like really fuck shit up for just being bad.
Yeah, and I feel like the shooting segments weren't really that great.
No, and the driving's not terrible.
But those things are so heavy. Those vehicles seem like just so heavy.
I was gonna say, I mean, it really just forces you to just skip, which is unfortunate because during the drives is when you can get like those side missions and like do like these random cases, but because it's just such a drag sometimes to drive, you're just like, I'm just gonna skip to the next section.
Yeah. Man, for me, some story games, which I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going with this, that really stick out are the Telltale Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us. And I know the Walking Dead kind of started in the PS3 era and then moved into the PS4.
Right.
Man, I mean, that game, it's crazy playing the later segments and then bringing up a game or a segment of the game that happened maybe during the first season.
Right.
And they talk about because there's multiple different choices. They talk about the choice you made and how that affected them, and this and that. Like this said, like I don't know if you kind of know about Lee, right?
Yeah.
About how you can either choose to leave him or to kill him as Clementine.
Right.
And she kind of talks about that later, and then they kind of reintroduce some characters. I think even in this last one, I want to say. Season 4 on the PS4, I think they had this lady that you kick off the bus in the very first game, and she kind of reappears as kind of like a leader of these guys that are just scavenging everything and kind of take everything by force, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, that one, the story is just great. I mean, and they ended it. I was kind of sad because I know Telltale went defunct, I think, before they could complete the last season. And then whenever I found out they were going to kind of finish it off, I was kind of worried that they might take maybe the Dexter route and
just phone it in.
The ending. Yeah, screw up the ending. But I enjoyed the way it ended. And then the Wolf Among Us 2 was another one that they put out, and then I think they went out of business, and I hear they're going to make another season, which that one's just kind of a cool little spin on, if y'all don't know, fairy tales. And they're all kind of in the same world, but they're in a modern world. And they're kind of having to hide what they really are. So you have, Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella and some really dark themes like prostitution, murder and drug addiction. I mean, it's crazy.
Like I would say, I think of all of them. I want to say, this is just my feeling too. I feel like you're most into The Wolf Among Us from the Telltale series.
Yeah. I would say the only reason I'm more into The Walking Dead is just because of the history of it. I mean, it's like the 4 games that span years and years and years. And then The Wolf Among Us only has 1 season. I mean, and that 1 season was enough to just pull me in.
Right. That's like your Half-Life. You're like, one day they'll make another one, I swear.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm pretty sure it came out with a trailer or something for it.
No, yeah, I sent you that article or like a teaser where like, they're whoever bought them or like wherever they're reorganized, like, they're gonna make another season of that.
Yeah, and that's I'm excited for that, man.
I'm sure. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, I wonder if Jerry knows. He would love that shit. So we talked mostly about, I guess. I know. I mean, there's a ton of games. That's the thing. I'm looking at my list. So many we haven't talked about, but most of the ones we've talked about are like, obviously the high profile games. It's what most people would think about when you think of PS3? Is there like, you think for you personally, like, oh, okay, it's not critically acclaimed, it didn't sell well, now people know about this, but like one of those like mid-tier or lower tier games where you're like, I really like this game for the PS3?
I think Catherine, which is kind of like a puzzle game. It's by, I want to say maybe Bandai. I'm not exactly sure.
I've seen you play that.
Yeah, so that one's pretty cool, and that's kind of a puzzle theme where you, I think, you have a girlfriend whose name is Catherine with a K, and then you kind of meet a girl who's Catherine with a C, who ends up, as odd as it sounds, like being the daughter of the devil or something. And she kind of makes you think that you cheated on your girlfriend, but in actuality, she's just kind of messing with your mind. You never really do anything. And I think they re-released that for the PS4, and they added a whole nother Catherine or something.
I think they made a sequel, I want to say.
Is it a sequel? Okay,
I
yeah.
think. Don't quote me on that, though.
I mean, and to me, that one's not too. I guess it's not too low profile, but it's not really one that you think of.
Mm-hmm.
Man, another one that just did horrible that I actually really enjoy is the first Kane Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
And that one was not really, critically enjoyed, I guess. But yeah, that one, it's just kind of a cool little shooter, and the way Kane and Lynch kind of go back and forth, talking shit to each other is kind of cool. And I mean, it's not something that's really, really amazing or great or whatever, but it's just something I kind of throw on every once in a while to play, a couple levels. What about you?
Let's see here. A couple of them were like, let's see. One of them was Just Cause 2. Absolutely love Just Cause series.
Yeah,
it's silly in the best way. It knows what it is, and it just goes, you know what? Just have at it. It's as the name implies, just cause chaos. Just that's the best way to describe it. It is just it knows it's a video game, and it's just like, all right, explosions, insane weapons. You can make pretty much anything and everything blow up. I feel like it's kind of like what I wish Mercenaries would have done going into the PS3. That's what it is for me.
It definitely is a more modernized Mercenaries. I feel like it's the Saints Row of kind of like spy, super soldier kind of games, because it's got that silliness that Saints Row has.
Oh yeah. Another couple ones. These other ones are like most of these are sentimental. Like they're good games, but they're not like super, like, I guess, well remembered. One of my favorite ones was Rock Band, the Beatles, because I would play that when my nieces and nephews were living with us. We would always play that game, and it was always so much fun.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, Rock Band, as you know, my little brother, man, he's a pro. He actually played at a sports stadium. There was like a contest during a halftime event or whatever.
He played at Minute Maid.
Yeah, Minute Maid, yeah.
That's crazy. Which is funny because he can actually play guitar too, can he?
Yeah. I mean, at that time he was really into AC/DC and all the classics, Black Sabbath and
shit. So
like
what's it say? Guitar Hero Legends of Rock. Then that must have been like, either that's what got him into it, or that was like a prayer answered.
Yeah. So he started off with the Guitar Hero series, and then he jumped into Rock Band, and I think Rock Band, because you can play the drums and all that.
Yeah.
He actually in high school played for the band drums. I mean, he's very musically inclined for sure.
Steven is just a great human being. He is like, it's kind of disgusting how good he is at everything.
Yeah, he's a genius, and he can pretty much do anything he puts his mind to.
He's smart. He's musically inclined. He's athletic. I mean, he's too perfect. I hate it.
And he's the vegan in the family. He does not eat any meat.
It's disgusting. How dare he be that good? It makes me feel like shit. Good for him.
Yeah. I love it. Love him.
He's great. Another one is Lego Star Wars. Same thing. Like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and just to like take the mind off everything, just put it on hold. It was just fun. It's just pure joy playing that game, that series, the whole saga.
I do have some memories with that. Like most bigger brothers, I was an asshole, and there was only one PS3, so I was always like, "No, I'm playing it right now," even though I clearly
Yeah.
wasn't going to play it. And that was one game that me and him, we would hop on and play. I think he had all of them actually. But yeah, so we played the whole trilogy of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, those were fun. Those were really, really fun.
And then I think one of the lesser known ones too for me. Oh, excuse me. Was SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. Huge wrestling fan, and for this was like huge, like freaking huge for like customization, and the amount of goofy shit you could do and create was amazing. And this was right around the time I was getting back into wrestling too, so it was perfect timing. And also it was like my second platinum trophy, which counts. Which counts because I know at the time you said that doesn't count. It fucking counts. Shit was hard.
So speaking about platinums, what game do you think you're the most proud of for platinuming?
Oh man, that is tough. Like, do you mean specifically of this era, or just
yes, yeah,
specifically of this era? I think that would honestly be my first one, and that would be Assassin's Creed 2. I was really big into Assassin's Creed at this time, especially with the Ezio trilogy. But Assassin's Creed 2, I remember clearly, was the first game I went out of my way to try to get every single trophy, and it took forever on one specific one. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like sweep people with like 5 people at once with a broom. That was really difficult, but I did that. That was my first platinum. Probably still my most proud one. What about you?
And I gotta say the first Last of Us. That one was tough.
Of course. And we haven't even mentioned that one.
Yes. Yeah, the last. I mean, yeah, that one. That was a tough one to platinum. And I actually, because at that point, whenever you're really trying to platinum a game, where you're doing multiple playthroughs and whatnot, it kind of loses, like, you're not at that point really paying attention to the story. Yeah. And you're trying to find any kind of little bug or any kind of exploit that you can use to kind of help you get the game on your side. So I remember I was just kind of listening to YouTube and kind of, bullshitting and finding all these little exploits. Like, there's a segment in the part of the game where that sniper's trying to kill you and you're running through the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
That if you go through a certain route, it won't trigger all of the enemies. Huh. And if you run through the side, they actually didn't build the bottom of a staircase, or I think it was like the back right side of the house was like kind of not there.
Yeah.
And so it kind of didn't trigger all the enemies if you went the certain route. And I remember doing that because it was hard, man. I think like one bullet, you were done. Like at least that one bullet, you were like one punch away from being dead.
You basically are like looking up speed running strats at that point.
Yeah. So I mean, it was that one. I really did some research and figured out. I mean, I know you love it, but we both love the Last of Us series for sure.
Yeah, like I said, I know we've mentioned it before, and that's why I didn't want to mention it right away because I knew when we get to it, that would basically take up all the rest of the time, especially since we're already like an hour in. But yeah, Last of Us goes out saying one of our favorite games of all time, regardless of a genre or era, whatever you want to say. When a game's obviously I want it to be fun, but if it's a good story, I can forgive a lot of things when it comes to like maybe a lack of variety, or basically like, I can forgive meh gameplay as long as the story entrances me. And I think, not to say the Last of Us gameplay is bad, but you don't play The Last of Us for the gameplay usually. You play it to like relive that story.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail right on the head, man. That story is just it's one of my favorites. And and at the end of the day, it's just a zombie game kind of, even though they're not really zombies, according to the developer. It's
in the subgenre of it.
Yeah. Now, so I'm gonna keep that short and sweet. I feel like
that's we can do a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
We will.
For sure.
And we will.
So, what about the horror genre? What's some of your favorite horror games that really stick out to you?
Well, funny, I think we just talked about one, obviously Dead Space,
Yes.
1 and 2, and to give some context, I don't know the order these things or the timing of when they will be released, but we just talked about Dead Space 1. You watched a playthrough of it. I played through it on PC. Basically, went back, came to the conclusion that it's just as good as we remember. Having played it again too, phenomenal. Really enjoyed it. Now the second one, I'd say it's probably going to end up being a similar case of, yep, it's just as good as I remember. Whereas like kind of what you were talking about with Fear, first one's mainly horror, and the second one is like that perfect marriage of action and horror. That's 100% the same case for Dead Space 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Dead Space 1 and 2, man. Definitely one of my favorite horror series. Like I said in the previous episode, which has not been released yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I got into all the media for it, like the little anime movies and the book and everything. There might be multiple books, but I read Martyr, and that, like I said, that gave me a whole different perspective on the lore of I think his name is Michael Altman. Yeah. So that one, but my first real horror game that I started playing, because like games are like something like you're really trying to enjoy yourself and decompress.
Yeah.
And horror games are kind of like eating spicy food, because it's the opposite of what you
that's
think
not
you
a
would
bad
want.
Yeah, it's not a bad comparison actually. It's stressful.
Yeah, because it's something that you would think that you shouldn't like, like burning your tongue or whatever. But in the end, like I love spicy food, as as do you. So yeah, so the first horror game that really from that era that got me was Fear 1, man. I didn't play that for months. I got to a certain part and it just freaked me out, man.
Yeah.
It just that Fear 1 is freaky. And then like I said, Fear 2 is that perfect marriage of action and horror. Then Fear 3, which I know you could definitely speak more on, is pretty much all out action. They even changed the art style and made it co-op. Which, I mean, where does that kind of rank on your kind of horror list?
Oh man, I mean I wouldn't even say it's a horror game for me personally. I mean, it definitely has horror elements. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna be like that's not even scary at all. It has some jump scares and stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like with horror, at the very least, you have to be like on edge. Like you have to kind of like, even if you know you're well equipped and you know you're gonna like blaze through a section, maybe you have to have some doubt on whether or not, like, you have to be just preparing yourself for like something bad might happen or something bad is gonna happen. You're anticipating. It's dread, a sense of dread, basically. I never felt that once in Fear 3. I was just having a blast playing it, and that's not me trying to shit on it, because it was super fun. I would play it again in a heartbeat, but I wouldn't consider that horror.
And yeah, I would agree with you. Like the same thing. Like we haven't beaten Dead Space 3, but I mean, do you kind of feel the same way about that, or
that one's
I feel like that one's a little more
horror.
scary?
Yeah, no, that one's a little more horror. I'll give it that. But even then, I wouldn't. I mean, I would consider it horror, but barely. Yeah, I don't even want to say action horror. That just doesn't sound right. But yeah, same thing. Kind of an action game with horror things in it. Yeah, that like I said, especially playing the first two games now and like remembering what we played in Dead Space 3, it's like, oof, yeah, that is, for me personally, yeah, that's such a drop off.
Yeah, I would agree.
What's crazy is, I'm looking like I'm looking into like the horror games of that era, and man, this is honestly maybe not a lot. And like the ones we already talked about, I know there's one maybe you can talk about horror wise, but like technically speaking, on Metacritic, the best horror game of that era is The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Which I guess it is a horror game, even though I don't think of it as such, but it does get pretty scary at times.
Yeah. I mean, really, it there are some jump scares in there, some parts that maybe you're not expecting that can really catch you off guard. I would say. But yeah, I really don't remember too many horror games, man. Because if there were a lot of games, I feel like with horror aspects, but they kind of played with the genre to make it to where it's not really horror. Like, man, there's a game.
Do you have any?
Man, there was a game, and I feel like this. I'm just mentioning this is not on my list really, but or I think you're a cheerleader or something during a zombie apocalypse out in high school. Yeah, like that one. Like, it takes a horror theme, but
I don't know the name. I know exactly what you're talking about, though.
yeah, where you have like a chainsaw and you go to like Romero High School after the famed.
Yeah. Is it literally just called Lollipop Chainsaw Massacre?
I think it's called Lollipop Chainsaw. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I remember they spent a lot of money on the marketing, I believe, for that one. But yeah, it was really badass.
Oh, okay. I know you played this one, The Darkness.
Okay, they consider that horror?
As I'm saying, like that's what I'm saying, like this era, man, it's not a lot of horror on this, but I guess it is considered it, even though I think even they say too, like, yeah, it's more like horror elements, not really like super horror.
Yeah, that one was kind of cool because it kind of makes you the monster, kind of makes you the thing in the dark that these mafia guys are kind of scared of. And then the second one was really cool too because it changed up the style to make it more like comic book looking, and you could dual wield weapons, and you had your little monsters and everything.
Yeah.
And it also had this cool collectible system where you're finding collectibles that are kind of like more mystical, like like something happened. I think like there's a collectible that was from Roanoke, which I don't know if anybody knows a lot about history, but the missing colony of Roanoke. And it explained like an angel or a demon or something had something to do with that with those people going missing in Roanoke. But there was a bunch of different cool little stories like that in the collectibles that I really enjoyed that. It was just something kind of small that was cool. And yeah, so The Darkness, I definitely wouldn't consider it horror, but it was a good game. But to be honest, once I beat it the first time, I just never really
okay,
picked it up again.
No replay value really, or no motivation to do that.
I mean, for some people, it's probably definitely up there, but I mean, it might be good to maybe give it a second playthrough.
Yeah. Well, this one, I mean, we mentioned it before. I guess I think I would consider this horror. It's in a weird place, but I if someone said Bioshock, I would buy that.
Yes. Bioshock, Bioshock was definitely more scary. Was definitely more scary than something like The Darkness. But I feel like you didn't really. There were some really creepy parts, but you didn't really have that sense of dread that you were talking about earlier.
Maybe a thriller? I don't know. Because I said it's definitely action adventure, but I mean, like I said, I could see it definitely like just creeping someone out a lot. I could see that.
Yeah, and now that I think about it, another one that was pretty good was the Leon playthrough of, because there was like 3 different stories in Resident Evil 6. They definitely went for quantity over quality. But that Leon, it's not like super scary, but it's definitely something memorable. That was another kind of series that me and my little brother would play, the Resident Evil, because he was really young, like maybe 7 or 8, and he had Resident Evil 5, and he like found all the little eggs and he loved it. And so in Resident Evil, he's like really good at like platinum whatever, like Black Flag.
Just another thing he's good at.
Yeah. So really young, he actually loved. I mean, because since he was little, we would watch Blade and all these kind of action horror movies that might be a little bit
not
maybe
appropriate.
Not appropriate. We watched a lot of not appropriate movies that were like super bloody and maybe kind of scary. So yeah, Resident Evil 6 was one that I really had fun playing. I think we played all of the stories except for Alma and the secret agent guy. But yeah, I'm looking at this list too, and there's really not too many from this era.
I wonder too, like if like maybe subconsciously that's another reason why we just love Dead Space so much, because that's like a diamond in the rough, kind of deal.
Yeah, I think that might be. So for The Evil Within, do you have that on PS4 or
I
PS?
had it on PS4. Did it release on PS3?
I don't know. It's on this list. 2014, so it's probably just a PS4 game. Yeah.
Okay, I did enjoy that, but yeah, I think it's one of those like weird. Basically, if it's a release date coincided with like releasing on both systems, I try to leave it off the list because like that's probably more of a PS4 game than a PS3. I mean, we've talked about so much, but like I said, like there's still so many games we haven't even talked about that I know we love. Like we haven't even talked anything about Uncharted.
Oh my God. Yeah,
I
dude.
know. So
Especially with that. Man, they just released a trailer with the Spider-Man. Which to me, I don't feel like he makes a good Drake. Uh,
I need to watch it. Maybe like super young, like literally like first day on the job. I could see it.
yeah. I mean, maybe. But yeah, that I haven't talked about. Life is Strange,
Mhm.
which was. I mean, I really enjoy those walking simulators more than
Mhm.
I guess more than a lot of people. So that one was a really, really good story with a nice twist at the end.
Yeah. We haven't mentioned much of RPGs, Mass Effect
Yeah,
2 and 3. Even though 3 was a little disappointing with the ending, it was still, I think before that, it was still fun.
yeah. I have the Mass Effect series on my list. I mean, of course, Mass Effect, Fallout,
Fallout,
Skyrim, all
Skyrim.
of yeah,
That could be 20 episodes. That shit is. I mean, think about this, man. That was like over 10 years, about to be 10 years, and it's still relevant to this day. It may as well just be new.
yeah.
It's insane.
I mean, that's probably like thousands of hours of our childhood right there with just those couple of games.
On the
Um,
PS3, on the PS4 for me, I would probably get on the PC again when it's on sale just to like mod the shit out of it, and that would add more hundreds of hours at least playtime.
yeah, yeah, man. I have so I have Skyrim on PS4, but I just don't want to go through that whole thing again. I don't know. It's so much. I mean, you could literally spend like hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of hours
That's
playing it modded or unmodded.
Yeah, that's the thing with it. I understand for a lot of people is that with the RPGs, like when you got shit to do, man, sometimes you just want to sit down and play something real quick. And Skyrim is not that kind of game. That's something where like this is my life for the next few months.
Yeah, you might sit down. Like, oh, I'll play it for 20 minutes. The next thing you know, you missed an important meeting or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's 20
But
minutes in Skyrim. That's like a minute.
yeah, and I will say one thing that has gotten me back into it a little bit was so I have the PS4, the VR Skyrim.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and I got that pretty recently, and that just adds a whole nother level of beauty to the game.
Yeah,
Like seriously, it's a whole. It's crazy. It's like I played the game, but I mean it's like getting a whole. I mean, because it doesn't even look. I mean, it looks about the same, maybe a little bit better than the PS3 version.
yeah.
But I mean, it's still beautiful. I mean,
I
it's
know, I
crazy.
get you. Oh, speak of the fucking devil, Skyrim's on sale now.
Hell yeah.
$14? Shit.
Yeah. $14 is worth it for sure.
Fuck.
And then fuck, Fallout, man. Fallout is so. Man, I
That's
remember.
that's
It's
something too. Like we will do an episode on that too. But and I want to play it again. But it's like, dude, if that's the case, we got to hold that on for like a month or something because to play it through like and do everything. Like
yeah,
shit.
and that's something I really want to play on the the PC because
Yeah,
the PS3, man. Oh my God, the
it's
loading
a
screens just to walk into a fucking house or like a couple of minutes. You know,
Fallout 3 and New Vegas are so broken on the PS3.
Yeah. So I know we've been talking about games that we really, really love. But what's the game that you were like super hyped about PS3 era that came out and just kind of fell flat? You're like, what the fuck?
Hmm. Hmm. Let me think about that. Actually, I'm gonna have to look at a whole list here now.
Because
I mean, Mass Effect 3, mainly for the ending. Like I said, it's still fun to play. It's just that it just falls flat at the end for me.
Yeah, because I think it was promises that if they hadn't had came out and made all these, I guess, promises, maybe it would have been not have gotten so much hate.
I guess one would have been, I guess, how you looked at it. Like if you were expecting like because your decisions do affect the ending, but it just kind of like, if you think of the ending as the whole game, then yeah, your decisions do matter. But I think most people are thinking like there's multiple endings, for like the final 10 minutes or something, instead of it just being like a different color option,
Yeah.
I say that even though I didn't play it at the time, I just knew. And then now having played it too, now it probably be confirmed. It would probably be Dead Space 3. I just kind of felt like that's not going to be good.
So, for me, one that from beginning to end was a total letdown. Is I don't know if you remember this. I think my icon on PS4 and PS5 is still this same logo, but the game Haze, Haze.
Oh my god, I totally forgot about that game.
That game, dude.
Oh my god.
So as an adult, I came back and I bought like multiple games that I wanted as a kid on PS2 and PS3 era, and then so I saw this and I was like, I got to get it. I got to see how bad it really is.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is kind of like one of those movies that's like so bad that it's kind of good,
So like, what is it even about that? Because I remember hearing a lot about it, but like I have no clue what it's about.
So I want to say it might be Ubisoft. I'm not 100% who the developer was, but so you're kind of like this super soldier for this big corporation, and they have this kind of liquid juice that they kind of get their soldiers all coked up on, and called nectar.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of blinds you to the realities or the horrors of war, so you don't really see the bloody kind of fucked up bodies and the chaos that's kind of left behind.
Mm-hmm.
While you're on this stuff, and it gets you super amped. So you're just ready to kill, and so you're dropped down into one of these missions, and you're doing your thing, you're killing people, whatever, and then something happens, and you end up turning into a rebel, and now you're killing these guys that who were part of the military that you were a part of, and yeah, it's just, oh man, the ending was bad. You gotta fight your friend who has these like horrible one-liners. I mean, the graphics weren't all that. I mean, they weren't horrible, but they weren't like the greatest. But yeah, that one. I mean, I remember hearing multiple people because I hadn't played it till really later, probably till like a couple of years ago. But which I mean, maybe if I would have played it when it came out, I would have enjoyed it more. But it was a big hit, big miss for me.
Okay, yeah. Okay, now I'm looking up here. Deadline or Riptide. That was disappointing for me.
Okay, yeah. Did you play the first one?
I did. Me and you played it for a good amount of time with Aaron.
Oh yeah. We leveled it up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was fun. Like, it wasn't like amazing, but like for what I was expecting, it was fine. But I remember like Riptide. Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah, I feel like Dying Light really did what that one was trying to do a hell of a lot better. And I'm excited for the new one. I don't know about you, but yeah.
Lost Planet 2. I remember that. I didn't even finish the first level. I did not like it at all.
See, I remember it's kind of like a snow game with like huge bugs or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that kind of whole. I don't know. Killing huge bugs just doesn't really
like it. I heard so much about the first one, and the second one was like so cheap. I'm like, hey, I'll get it. It can't hurt. And like even for like that, like what was it? Maybe $10-15 I got at the time. I'm like, just dropped it completely. Like, I don't care about this. So I'd say in that sense that was disappointing, considering that my expectations are low, and it still was just like, nah. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure you have more than me. Wasn't one of them for you? The second Kane Lynch.
Yeah, so the second Kane and Lynch, man, it just fucked it. I mean, like I said, the first one wasn't like this, critically acclaimed game, but the second one, Jesus, and it ends kind of like The Sopranos. Like
Hmm.
you kind of just, it's just unfinished. You hop on a plane, you think you're going to the next level, and it just fucking ends. The credits roll with no real conclusion. I feel. Yeah, that one just wasn't. It wasn't good at all. And for the first one, it was kind of cool with that little camera filter where it's kind of grainy, and and if you shot somebody in the head, I remember it would blur out their face, like it, like basically kind of like maybe you were, I don't know, the news showing this footage or something like
Right,
that.
right.
So I just added a kind of a cool little, like just a little feel to it. Which the second one I don't really remember if it did that, but I just remember it being horrible. It just was not a good game.
Yeah. I think the last one I can think of that was disappointed me was I didn't buy it thankfully, but I know plenty of people who did, was Colonial Marines.
Is that from the War?
Aliens.
Aliens. Okay, yeah.
That one.
Didn't they get sued or something like that?
I wouldn't doubt it. I just remember like it was just 100% broken.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even. That wasn't even really on my radar. I just remember kind of hearing how how it's kind of bad or whatever, but I never actually played it.
Yeah, I thought I heard. Yeah, it's just completely unplayable. Oh, okay, I got one now. Yeah, on a personal note, then yeah, it's not bad, but I think this marked the end of like the downfall of my fandom for the series was Assassin's Creed 3.
Really?
Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't. I think a lot of people give it too much hate, but that is probably the first Assassin's Creed game I played at the time where I was just like, didn't love it, and then after that, I just haven't. The last one I played was Black Flag, and that was fun, but I just didn't care about the story or nothing like that. It was just I was done with it.
Assassin's Creed in theory is a series I should really love. It's like right up my alley, but I stopped playing it like midway through the second one, and I played the first one. Like I started playing with the first one years and years, like probably 8 years after it came out, and then I played it. And I'm like, okay, it's the first game. It's old, and then so I started the second one, and that game was I found twice as long. I just couldn't be. It just didn't hold my attention. And I know a lot of people love that, Ezio and all that.
Yeah, that's
and I remember seeing the commercial for the third one and seeing like it was during colonial times, American Revolution. I was like, this has got to be great. But I still haven't played it. But yeah, that really surprised me because that one looked so cool. And then even these newer ones with seeing King Leonidas and and then the other ones with the Vikings and then the pyramids. The whole Egypt is just such a perfect time to explore, because that's that's perfect with the whole alien kind of thing that they're doing. And then even the one that was like during an industrial revolutionary kind of times in England, that one seemed pretty interesting too, because that's not really an era that gets explored too much.
Yeah, like it's so crazy. Like after that, they do all these settings. Like I think I would love, like obviously a big one was like Egypt. That's something I always wanted in an Assassin's Creed game, but by the time it happened, I was just so turned off from the series.
Yeah, and I know we said in early episodes, like, we're not trying to bring apart any toxicity or whatever, like too much hate towards these games, and I really do mean that. I mean, and no offense to anybody who loves these games. They're just
like this
our
is all
cup of tea.
Yeah, exactly. This is all personal. Like if you're over here, like you absolutely adore Assassin's Creed. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on you for that. It's just like for me personally, this is just kind of like where it fell off the wheels came off for me. I mean, I know plenty of people who like played the fourth Metal Gear Solid and they were like, it wasn't that good. I mean, I disagree wholeheartedly, but different people, different strokes,
Yeah, for sure.
Like we're not just shitting on it just for the sake of it. We're not saying it's a shitty game and anyone who likes it or had any hand in making it should die. It's just it was just disappointing. That's it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
I think it's not wrong to just like something. I'm not gonna just as long as you just don't be a dick about it.
I agree, because these people, even no matter how much of a mess I think this game is, I couldn't make anything near I don't even know, where to start with a video game.
Right.
So they're already leagues above anything I would make, even if it was like a complete dumpster fire. Mine would just be leagues worse. In fact, it would never start because I don't know how to start.
Exactly. I mean, just because you don't know how to do it doesn't mean you have no right to like critique it. I don't know how to.
Yeah.
I don't know how to cook extremely well, but I can tell you when like a chicken is dry or something.
That is true. I agree. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't want people to think we're just hating on all these different games.
No, of course. I don't think we've came off as like just spiteful or nothing. I mean, we're just talk about games in general. I think for the most games are average, and there's some really good ones, and there are just some really bad ones out there.
That is true. Man, so what's a mission that really sticks out to you from any one of these games?
God, at that point, that's
or just a segment, not even because I know some of these games aren't really like don't necessarily have missions or kind of a continuous thing, but just a segment that really like wow.
If I had to pick one, I will mention a game we haven't talked about yet. That would be the opening for God of War 3.
Okay, is that the one where it starts off and you're on those Colossuses?
Yeah, you're on the Titans.
Titans. Okay.
And you go after Poseidon.
Okay, I played the new God of War, but I haven't played 3. I actually played 1
Really?
and 2. Yeah, I still haven't played 3. I played 1 and 2 though.
Wow, that is not what I was expecting.
Yeah, and I enjoyed 1, I enjoyed 2, and I enjoyed the newest God of War.
Mm-hmm.
I mean those were all great games.
Wow, you missed out on 3.
Yeah, I know, it's surprising.
I would say then I think it's one of those games like look. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it looks great.
Oh, it plays fantastically. That's one of the games too that for a while it just did not age at all graphically. God of War has always been pretty good with its opening levels, but that one was just complete insanity. I remember just being absolutely hooked on it. That's definitely one of the top ones for me. Another one would be the opening for Dead Space 2. Having just played that's fresh in my mind. That was fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
What about you?
Man, for me, there's a couple. For me, it's mostly like these kind of openings that are like, oh shit, okay, I'm really, because a lot of people play games to escape or to experience something, totally crazy or new.
Right.
For me, I would say Fallout 3. The first time you step outside the vault, man,
of course.
Your eyes are adjusting to the sun. And I think you mentioned this in maybe our first episode, just talking about the opening of that game. I mean, it was insane. That and even more than the original Bioshock Infinite. Whenever if you're strapped into that chair and your gun falls down the seat and you're like, oh shit, I lost my gun, and then you just blast off into it starts to count down. Yeah. And then even before that, whenever all the lights in the sky change, almost like something biblical. That whole thing.
So that the introduction to Columbia, that you think that for you that hit you harder than like first seeing Rapture?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Rapture was kind of like it was like an accident. You stumble. It was like a mysterious kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to me in Bioshock Infinite, that was almost biblical. Like I don't know. It was crazy.
No, that makes sense. I mean, that's kind of like the idea of it, isn't it?
Yeah, because I think that is the idea is he was trying to be some kind of prophet or something.
It's paradise, it's heaven.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to portray it as, and of course, as you play it more, you see that there are plenty of weaknesses. The very opening scene, man, with the interracial couple. Like that immediately just takes away the facade. Yeah. You're like, oh shit, okay, this place is not good. Okay.
What era of paradise is this?
Yeah, that's that opening. Yeah, I was really surprised they even gave you the option to do something like that. I was like, oh shit. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Like they don't allow you to do it. I know something stops you, but just the fact that that's an option, like, damn, dude.
Yeah, I mean, so that was like kind of the first part of the curtain kind of falling, that you're like, oh shit, okay, something weird is going on. Something's going on.
I think another. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, and one thing that's weird is that guy ends up being an alternate version of you.
Mm-hmm.
The character that you're playing as doesn't seem racist, so it's like, man, what happened to change him that way?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what were you gonna say?
I really think this is kind of forgotten too, but the nuke hitting in Modern Warfare 1, that was really shocking when it first happened. When it happened.
Yeah.
That was definitely like, oh my fucking god, this is happening. I remember thinking that.
Yeah, it made that into like a really epic spectacle, man. It was really it was crazy. The helicopter's going out and the guy flies out.
Yeah, and then you get to like walk for like 10 seconds after the fact. It's just like the utter annihilation. It's just like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah, and it went really spooky too, because you can walk towards that playground. You can kind of hear kids playing, and the playground's just destroyed, of course, and nobody's around. Like, that is also almost something that's biblical, because you have this crazy dust storm and just everything. That's.
It was so funny too, because I think when it first happened, I was with my cousin Steven, and we were just, when it first came, we first jumped back to the guy we were playing as. We're like, holy shit, this guy lived, and then he obviously ends up just dying. We're like, yeah, that makes sense, but just for a second you go, oh really, this is happening? But it just reminds you, like, well, yeah, no fucking shit, he's dead. It's a fucking nuke.
Yeah.
Like, sure, like he would have died like immediately, but like for dramatic purposes, of course, just let that happen.
Yeah, it was yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, that's definitely a showstopper.
Mm-hmm. Or like in the second one too, what's his name? Shepard turning on you.
Oh my god, yeah, Shepard. Oh,
that's one less. That's one less loose end. Bam.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that too, man.
No, like, yeah, people forget. I know it's a meme now, but like that's why I like to think too. Like, this is not just me. I feel like I'm trying to be objective as possible. But I really do feel like this is they were really doing good in all cylinders. They're firing on all cylinders.
What's crazy is how have you played the new Modern Warfare?
I did not play the third. I haven't played any of them. The last one I was really into was Black Ops.
Okay, so the new Modern Warfare is actually the prequel to the first Modern Warfare, which I thought was pretty interesting. Yeah, that one was pretty cool. I like how they're kind of tying everything together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then, man, I can't believe we forgot this. Call of Duty, the World War II one where zombies was introduced.
I had that on there. I was waiting for it. Like, at the time, again, I have to really say this. At the time, this was like one of the weirdest things ever. Like, fucking zombies and Call of Duty. And now it's like, there better be zombies in this game, or else it's just not worth it.
I actually haven't even played zombies on Cold War, because it's not fun if you don't have.
You need people.
You need people that really, and with one set goal. Because like, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like basically what you're saying, because like my favorite level of any of them was the Pentagon in Black Ops, where you play as like JFK, Nixon, McNamara, and Castro. I want to say that's them.
Yeah, McNamara. Yeah.
It was amazing. Are you kidding me? Oh my god.
With their little one-liners.
It was ridiculous, and I loved it. It was just, yeah. Like, I think our team we changed it once in a while, but it was me, you. It was a mix of me, you, Aaron, Steven, and Omar, and sometimes Mario. There was a mix of that, where we'd always try to, go as far as we can in that level.
Yeah, I remember we'd be like, I remember staying up so late that I would have to be really quiet. I had my little headset on, and I would put like a towel under my door so the light wouldn't seep through.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I was going super Black Ops mode with that. Yeah, yeah, dude. That we spent so much time playing that, man. Mm-hmm. in the story, because then it came out that there's this whole underlying story and all these lore. Yeah. And now, recently, I think the episode, like, there was a trailer that put out where everybody was like, hey, thank y'all for playing, this is the end. And they're, like, almost crying, the voice actors.
Wow.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's became a whole phenomenon, man.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Just how much that's taken over. Like, that's that's become its own game, you know.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Like I said, going for those 2 or 3 years, COD ruled, man. I'd go to my cousins. That's all that they were playing. Zombies, or a gun game. I loved gun game.
Oh, gun game. Yeah, gun game was cool because that was the one where you start off with the knife or the ballistic knife.
I think you could do it where like it could change, like you do it randomly, or like you start off with a pistol. I want to say I think you start with a revolver, then you work into the dual pistols, and then the ballistic knife is the last one.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember the
Yeah.
exact order, but I know the last one is the ballistic knife, and the second to last one is the explosive bow.
And then you also can like leverage like these COD points that you've earned playing the game, right?
Yeah. There's like a little currency they had, and I don't think it was that exploitive. Like obviously you can spend money on it and stuff, but I think it was enough to like you play it and do decent enough. You can get most of the stuff you want.
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
What was another one? They had a good amount of mix of games like Sticks and Stones. That was a fun one.
That was just a bow and arrows and stuff, right?
I
And
think
ballistic knives.
yeah, and then if you get knifed, you lose all your points.
Okay, yeah.
Or is it you get knifed? Yes, you get. Or is that gun game? It's one of those. I think gun game is the one where if you get knifed, you get
You start
demoted.
back.
And
Do
then
you
if you
start
get
back all the way from the beginning, or do you just
no,
start
just
one gun?
I think I want to say in gun game, if you get knifed, you just go back a gun, and if you get hit with a ballistic knife in Sticks and Stones, you lose all your points. I want to say that's it. It's been such a long time, but something like that. Then there was like one in the chamber.
Oh, yeah.
That was a fun little one too.
Because that was like a one-shot kill thing, right?
Yeah, and if you miss, then you got a knife, and that's how you get the bullet back.
Yeah, that.
As I say, yeah, they had a nice little mix of game modes.
I'm not even sure if they still have those. I mean, they have to still have those modes. I got to check that out.
Yeah, I would say maybe, hopefully, like that's something I'm totally down to play again too. Whether it's on PS3 or PC, I will jump into that easy with you. I would love that.
Hell yeah, man. We got to play more PC games together. Because I know you got your fucking badass gaming computer. It's about time for me to upgrade.
I think yours is still definitely way better. I got like a mid tier. Like it can play most games decently. I don't think you can play like Cyberpunk where like I can like mod the shit and makes Skyrim look like a like GTA or something like that.
No, dude, I promise you your computer's better. The only reason mine looks impressive is because I got a big ass case that I got for free. That's the only reason I have this humongous monster of a case. It's because it was free, man. I mean, but yeah, it's about. I feel like it's about time. I think I got like that 1500 whatever graphics card. I need to get. I'm thinking about just buying one pre-built, but. Oh, man, remember when we built that when we were living together?
Oh, you built it. I just like was watching from the background.
But yeah, that took so much effort. And then now we went to Fry's. Yeah, we went to Fry's, and there's not even a Fry's to go to anymore.
I was gonna say you went there on its like one of the last days. I think it was actually doing well because right after that, just depressing to go into it. And I think people outside of like Texas and California are just gonna be like, "What the fuck is Fry's?"
Yeah. So for those who don't know, it's a big store, kind of centered more towards kind of technological things. They had all this crazy stuff from like furniture and badass TVs to, I mean, just about every computer part you can think of to drones. They even had like a little restaurant, like a little NASA themed restaurant, I believe.
Oh, yeah. For us, it was NASA themed because we're in that area. But like each little, depending on where you were, every Fry's had a theme. I think that was really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And that, I mean, yeah, I remember I was on a mission that day, and then I remember I thought I had a graphics card, but it was broken. I was given a graphics card that was broken, and I remember like being like, "Shit, that's like my last piece that I, to put in." And yeah, so I had to go to Best Buy and buy a graphics card. But yeah, man, that's quite a memory.
I know. We'll definitely, like I said, I think one of the good ones to what, before we go on there, because we've already been kind of rambling on, we should find a good stopping point right now. We're almost at 2 hours.
Yeah, shit. So yeah, do you have? Because I just about hit everything on my list that I can think of. Is there any that more that you can think of?
I'm sure there's plenty that we really did get a chance to go into depth in, but hey, that's why we're gonna have dedicated episodes. I think as an overall, as much as we can do an overall summary of it, I think we did pretty good. I'm good. I think I've said all I can say.
Yeah, me as well, man. I got my list here, and I think I've been marking them off as we went through them. But yeah, that's really all I've got, man. Thank y'all for listening, staying tuned, and hope y'all are all having a good day.
Yeah,
All
thanks
right.
for giving us a listen. I know it was a while, but I think we were able to stay on track for the most part. And hopefully these next ones that the next episode that should come out will be that'll be more heavily focused on just a singular game. Probably the next one will be Dead Space 2, huh?
Yeah, the one after this one's probably going to be Dead Space 2.
All right, and so that's what we're going to be talking about next, most likely.
All right. Thank y'all for listening.
All right.